So welcome to this special iContact webinar, email marketing, learning from the holidays and preparing for a new year. If you've not spoken to anybody from iContact this year, I'd like to say Happy New Year, and I hope you had a wonderful holiday period. I'm hoping that you were all very busy, and I'm hoping that you are looking to optimize the success of that holiday period. So today we're going to be giving you lots of great advice about how you can take that success you saw over Q4 of 2014 and implement a strategy into 2015. Just like to introduce myself. My name is John Hayes. I'm a marketing strategist and contributing author here at iContact. You can probably tell by my accent, I'm not based in our North Carolina office. I'm actually based in London, in the UK, where I look after our European client base. What does a marketing strategist and contributing author do? Well, essentially, I spend my time speaking to small and medium-sized business owners and marketeers. I get to know them, I get to know their products and their services, and perhaps most importantly, I get to know about their marketing problems, and I try and help them solve their marketing problems. I'm a great believer that all great services, all great products, and actually all great marketing should solve a problem for your target audience. And if you can solve a problem for just one person, the chances are you can solve a problem for 100, 1,000, 10,000 people, depending on the size of your industry's niche. So my contact details are on the screen there. My email address, jhayes@icontact.com. The Twitter handle, you can follow me on at John_W_Hayes. You can obviously also follow iContact at iContact. And if you'd like to tweet about today's webinar, please use the hashtag iContact webinar. Aside from my work at iContact, I am also the author of 3 books now. The first, Becoming the Expert, which is a book about enhancing your business reputation through thought leadership marketing. That book talks about great things like email marketing, social media marketing, blogging, online public relations, etc., etc. The more recently published A Crash Course in Email Marketing, which again talks about how small and medium-sized businesses can maximize their efforts through email marketing, and the very recently published Bricks and Mortar Author, which looks at how real-world businesses can benefit from the techniques widely adopted by many online businesses. As I say, if you have any questions throughout this webinar, please feel free to use the chat facility on the screen. Alternatively, you can hit me by email or on Twitter. So a brief agenda of what we're going to be talking about today. First and foremost, we're going to have a quick review of the Q4 holiday period. We're going to look at customer lifetime value, CLV. We're going to look at how you can woo your customers with email marketing. We're going to look at peak shopping periods. Now, you might think the peak shopping periods have passed, but there are many, many peak shopping periods throughout the year. And, you know, there may be opportunities to drive additional sales throughout the coming months from your Christmas and holiday activity. We're going to be having a quick reminder of email marketing best practices. Now, these are very, very important. Please don't forget them. We're going to look at how you can take the advice we're giving you today and how you can move on with that. And then I'll leave you with a final thought. And at the end of the session, as I say, we will have time for some Q&A as well. So, quick review of the Q4 holiday marketing period. Now, I'm guessing most people online today are based in the United States, and particularly Black Friday. The Black Friday event has been around for a long, long time, and I'm guessing this is a fairly typical holiday shopping scene in towns and cities across the United States of America. And it's actually happening now in the UK and other parts of Europe as well. This is perhaps the first big year of Black Friday sales events, with many of the large high street stores and online retailers jumping on the Black Friday and the Cyber Cyber Monday holiday promotions. Sadly, we're seeing some of the negative side of it as well, and this has happened in one or two stores, and it has hit the papers as well. The holiday shopping, it certainly doesn't bring the best out in all of us when people are looking for a bargain. Hopefully you haven't had this kind of thing happening in your stores and on your websites. So, wow, you've been really, really busy, and I guess we looked at the end of last year at the key dates in the Q4 holiday marketing calendar, and perhaps Black Friday and Cyber Monday really, really stood out as key dates where you had to be pushing your business forward. And the stats speak for themselves. I said last year that the holiday marketing period really began with Halloween, and yes, it certainly did. No sooner had the lanterns been taken down as the Black Friday promotion started. Amazon in particular started pushing Black Friday very, very heavily on November the 1st. People were in little doubt that they were going to grab some great bargains over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, both in the US and over here in Europe as well. So e-commerce between 1st of November and December the 14th grew by 15% on the previous year. Now that's double-digit growth, and in times where there was still a degree of economic uncertainty, that is fantastic. You see very few businesses growing to such an extent, in the past 5, 6, even 10 years. So to achieve double-digit growth on the previous year is absolutely fantastic. Black Friday online sales, according to our friends Channel Advisor, also based in North Carolina, grew by 22% on the previous year, and this is due largely thanks to companies like Amazon promoting the sales event, and lots of other bricks and mortar businesses and lots of other small online and offline businesses jumping on that bandwagon. Cyber Monday, the Monday following Thanksgiving, online sales grew by 17%, and the important thing is they reached more than $2 million in sales online alone. It's the biggest online shopping day in history. So hopefully, I'm really, really hoping that most of you, or some of you online, got a good slice of that pie. Another interesting stat that's come out of the holiday marketing period is the success of mobile. And some people are actually thinking, perhaps we shouldn't call it Black Friday, perhaps we should call it Mobile Friday, because mobile shoppers accounted for a huge percentage of online orders in 2014. 30.3% of online orders were made from a mobile device, either a cell phone or a tablet computer like the ubiquitous iPad. That's a jump from 22.5% in 2013. Now this is really important for email marketers because, as I've said before, email marketing and mobile marketing, they go hand in hand. The mobile devices were built for email, and to some extent have actually freed email from the desktop environment that they were previously stored in, basically. Now people carry their email inboxes around with them absolutely everywhere, and as email marketers you can engage them anytime, any place. So you can really, really hit them when they are in a buying frame of mind. So in many ways, mobile technology has just added another great reason to get involved with email marketing. But it's not all positive. Certainly in the UK, we saw some backlash from retailers having problems in store with unruly shoppers. The leading UK retailer, John Lewis, warned that Black Friday type events could have a detrimental effect on how retailers and consumers behave, introducing a new volatility into the retail market and playing all sorts of havoc with businesses' cash flow. I mean, what they're basically talking about there is they get people in at the end of November they run after bargains, and they don't return in December, and it's all boom and bust, and that can be very, very difficult for a business to cope with. Certainly internationally, Amazon and again Marks and Spencer's in the UK reported problems with shipping. So many items were ordered online during the Black Friday and Cyber Monday events. It was very, very hard for the couriers and the delivery agents to live up to the promises and getting next day delivery. Many people are actually thinking about next day delivery now and wondering, is it sustainable? Also free delivery as well. Is that sustainable? Is that putting too much risk in online retail? There was some retailers suffered technology problems. There was a widely reported issue with a piece of repricing software, which resulted in many thousands of retailers selling tens of thousands of products for a penny on Amazon, and that was over a period of an hour. And that issue has now been resolved, but it's still causing a lot of problems for retailers who were affected. In short, the holidays can be really, really expensive. And I know from my experience in the online world, certainly in the online retail world, you meet a lot of busy falls during the holiday period. So there's a lot of costs associated with holiday trading. First and foremost is high acquisition costs. Most retailers will want to spend more money on acquisition marketing, whether that is paid search, whether that is price comparison engines, whether that is TV advertising, radio advertising, magazine advertising. Acquisition costs are expensive, and certainly in the online world when everybody else is trying to throw their adverts in there as well, because paid search is largely run on an auction system, that pushes the prices up. So acquisition costs are already high, and as increased competition gets involved, they can go up higher, even higher. Obviously at Christmas, whether you operate a real world store or whether you are in the online world, you still have to pay for additional staff. You have to have additional people on your tills, you have to have additional staff in your fulfillment centers, you have to have additional staff in your customer services operations, so you will have increased staff costs. Shipping is obviously a huge drain on resources, and we've already mentioned there, is free shipping sustainable, particularly as competition drives prices down. Warehousing and logistics, and again we've already touched on that as well. Are you delivering on your promises when you've got so many a large number of orders going through? Then there's a huge problem of returns. When you buy anything online, people have got the right to return, and I'm guessing you will be getting returns at the moment. People returning unwanted gifts, people returning faulty items. Very, very, very expensive business. As I mentioned, it's very easy to be a busy fool during the holidays. So now's not the time to start counting your money. There's a good chance you haven't made the kind of money you thought you were going to make, and that's because of all those extra factors, the extra staff, the cost of acquisition marketing, the cost of shipping all those goods, the cost of hiring extra customer service staff, etc., etc. But now is probably a very good time to start counting up your email addresses, because when you were selling over the Christmas holiday period, you undoubtedly collected a lot of email addresses. Now, these are people who trust you, who have given you money, and you are now able to remarket to. So you need to take into account what people have purchased from you. You need to get them uploaded into your email marketing system, and you need to segment those lists accordingly and start hitting them with campaigns now and delivering something that we call customer lifetime value. What is customer lifetime value? Customer lifetime value is a prediction of the net profit attributed to the entire future relationship with a customer. Now, There is a story, and this is in the public domain, so I'm sure there's no problem in sharing it. Certainly when iContact first started, we didn't know how much a customer was worth. So any marketing we did, we did it by basically putting a finger in the air and seeing which way the wind was blowing. It was only after we were in business for a number of years we grew to understand what our customer lifetime value is. That's how much money the average customer will give us over their average lifetime with the business. Once we'd worked out what our customer lifetime value is, we were then able to work out how much money we could afford to spend on marketing so that we could pretty much guarantee to see a profit from that customer. Now, we may not see a profit from a single customer in a year or 2 years, but we'll perhaps see the profit from them in year 3. And it's exactly the same in the retail world as well. In a previous role, I worked for an agency who dealt with paid search advertising for large retailers. And when you're dealing in the retail environment, somebody who's perhaps selling consumer electronics or high street fashion, the margins on these products are very, very thin. When you have to pay to acquire new customers, you'll excuse me, you'll often lose money on that first sale. If you can capture information and you can remarket to them using a low-cost retention marketing technology like email marketing, you may see a profit from them in the second or third sale down the line. So customer lifetime value is very important, and it's very important that you learn how much your average customer will spend with you over the time that they will shop with you. Now, I've mentioned this many times, and I'll probably never get bored of saying this. Email marketing is the most profitable component of everything else you do to promote your business and drive sales, and that is because email marketing is historically a retention marketing tool. As anyone that's been in business for any length of time will tell you, it is much more cost effective and much more profitable to retain existing clients than to acquire new ones. Now, obviously, over the holiday marketing period, you acquired a lot of new customers, but how you retain these customers, that will show how much profit you can make from them. So email marketing is very it's in rude health. It's alive and well. And as I've mentioned on previous webinars, it was one of the first online marketing techniques. In fact, it actually predates the internet as most of us know it. But no other marketing technique has overtaken it in terms of return on investment and success. Now, I came across a very interesting report towards the end of last year based on a survey conducted by the shopping comparison site Give As You Live. Give As You Live are a shopping comparison site who donate proceeds from their sites to various charitable causes. And they surveyed just under 5,000 of their customers and asked them what marketing techniques were they most likely to react to. And they were actually very surprised. I wasn't surprised to learn this at all, but they were surprised to learn that 64% of online shoppers were likely to stop whatever they were doing. Now, that could be working, that could be watching the television, that could be studying. So they were likely to stop whatever they were doing and click on an email link sent by a retailer. This compared to just 10% who claimed they were likely to be tempted to visit an online store by social media marketing, which is fair enough because as most people believe, social media marketing is free, aside from the time and effort you have to put into it, or more traditional banner advertising, which is far from free. Traditional banner advertising being the very traditional acquisition marketing technique used by so many people online. So 64% of people compared to 10% of people. So what are you going to invest your marketing dollars in the coming months if you know it's going to stop people in their tracks and get them to click on a link and drive them directly to your website. And bear in mind, there are so many other things that people can do online now. They can be listening to music, they can be watching YouTube videos, they can be reading books. You know, people are busy all of the time now. You really need to disrupt them, and email marketing is proving to be the most popular method of disrupting people's daily routines and getting them to visit your store and ultimately buy. So what were people most likely to be disrupted by or distracted by? Fashion retailers came out on the top. 42% of respondents said they were most likely to be distracted by fashion retailers. Travel websites, 22% said they were likely to be distracted by travel offers. And DVD and gaming websites said 25% said they were likely to be distracted. Now these results may come from the kind of people who shop via the Give As You Live website. But interesting to see such a high number there for travel, because we're coming into January now, and January is a peak period for travel marketing and travel sales. So you may think that Q4 was the biggest peak of the year. But it really depends on what business you're in. Just a couple of businesses that are peaking now. Travel bookings. The holiday industry makes most of its money in January. So if you're involved in a business that sells flights or hotels or any other kind of travel opportunity, now is the time you need to be hitting your customer base. You need to be hitting them as much as a traditional retailer will be hitting their clients just prior to to the Christmas holidays. Online dating, it's a peak period in January. I don't know if people get fed up with their partners over the festive period and looking for different options, but online dating has its peak period in January. Recruitment services, as people look to change jobs in the new year. And also there's a huge opportunity still from retail in January. Obviously a lot of retailers are trying to clear their stock, their holiday stock in January, but there are other things that people will be selling. So, for example, winter clothing, coming up to Valentine's Day, perhaps. There are other items that you can promote by traditional retail. We shouldn't forget Valentine's Day, and I always like to share a story with my listeners when I talk about Valentine's Day. A couple of years ago, excuse me, I was contacted by a very irate lingerie seller. His busiest week was the week prior to Valentine's Day. So he wanted to get involved in email marketing, and he wanted to hit this huge list with a great campaign and drive loads of sales just a week prior to Valentine's Day. Now, he had several problems. One, he'd been collecting email addresses for a number of years, and as we'll go on to explore a little bit later, email addresses don't age well. He'd also collected these email addresses from numerous sources that perhaps weren't compliant with iContact or any other email marketing service providers' systems. So ultimately, when he sent these lists, sent a campaign to this list, it looked incredibly spammy. There were a lot of emails that bounced because they didn't exist anymore. There were a lot of people who unsubscribed. There were a lot of people who hit spam complaint button, and ultimately his email campaign was stopped before it could reach the tens of thousands of people he wanted to hit, because his list wasn't in good health. And that ultimately meant he missed his biggest sales period of the year because he left everything to the last moment. If I was him, I would have my lists uploaded at the beginning of January now, and I would start testing them now. I would start sending campaigns out now, and that would give him the opportunity to test his lists, to cut out any dead wood from his lists, and if there were any problems with spam complaints or bounced emails, he would be able to sort that out prior to his busiest shopping period of the year. So yeah, the moral of the story is don't leave things too late. The best time to start marketing is now, and that's for another couple of reasons as well. The average age of an email address is 18 months, and that's for a number of reasons. People change jobs, people change service providers. Sadly, people die. You will never sell anything to a dead person. So if your email lists are over 18 months and you're hitting them for the very first time, the chances are a lot of them won't be there anymore. Email marketing is a two-way communication channel. You can listen and learn and build relationships. So don't just broadcast. Remember, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. And again, this is a big problem with people who get involved with email marketing. They send out emails from no reply addresses. And people have got absolutely no way of getting in touch with them. So I always recommend that if you're sending out your campaigns, they should be sent out from an email inbox that is constantly monitored, because you never know. 1 or 2 of your customers that receive your newsletter may just hit reply and say, how can I buy this? Or do you have this in a different color? Or, can we talk about price on this? So don't think of email just as a broadcast tool. Think of it as a tool where you can listen and learn and build relationships. A lot of people now are claiming that email marketing is very much a social network. Some would say it was the first, albeit closed, social network, and I very much endorse that opinion. Talking about email marketing best practices, you've got to keep it relevant, timely, and engaging. Everything else is spam. So if you have sold ladies' fashion over the holiday sales period to a particular customer, you can only really contact them about ladies' fashion. If you contact them about something else, the chances are they won't be interested in it, and they'll either never open an email from you again, or they'll hit that spam box. I'm a great believer in, if you have nothing to say, you don't say it, although you're in business, you should be excited about your business, you should be excited about your products, you should be excited about your services, you should always have something to say. If you've segmented your list, even if you can only say that to a small amount of people, think of email marketing as something you do on a regular basis, perhaps not to your entire list though. I urge people to kill their monthly newsletter. That might sound a little bit bizarre, but too many email marketeers rely solely on a monthly email marketing newsletter. It's very often an afterthought, and it will have a list of articles or a list of products. And again, is it relevant? Is it timely? Is it engaging? The chances are probably not. Now, there's still space for a monthly newsletter in your email marketing strategy, but it shouldn't be your only campaign. You need to increase your volume. I'm hoping in the run-up to the holiday period, you're emailing people multiple times a week. There's no reason why you should stop doing that now. People are still buying, and if you've segmented your lists and you're hitting them with relevant, timely, and engaging offers, they will welcome the increase in volume. You need to keep pushing those emails out. Finally, remember, there's no such thing as cheap or expensive marketing. There's marketing that works, and there's marketing that doesn't work. Email marketing may appear to be very, very low cost, but you still have to put a great deal of time and effort into those campaigns if they are going to work correctly. If you're doing it as an afterthought and you're just doing it because you've always done it that way, the chances are your email campaigns will not work for you. So remember, keep it relevant, keep it timely, and keep it engaging, because everything else is spam. I'm going to leave you with a final thought before I go to the Q&A. And if anybody would like to ask any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat facility on the screen there. Now, this is a quote taken from my new book, Bricks and Mortar Author, and it's really defines how I believe businesses should be approaching marketing technology in the year 2015. It's all about being agile. Agility is key to succeeding in the digital age. Now the business moves at the speed of the internet. Sitting back and delaying change is no longer an option. So if you've been thinking, yeah, I need to get more involved with email marketing, I need to socialize my email marketing list, I need to segment my lists better, I need to send more campaigns, now is the time to do it. The longer you wait, that will give space for your competitors and other businesses who you may not have even heard of yet to fill in that void. So agility is key to succeeding. With that, I'd like to move on to Q&A. If anybody has any questions from today's session, or if anybody would has any comments they'd like to make, please feel free to enter them into the chat facility. I will put my contact details on the screen now. If anybody would like to drop me an email to perhaps discuss anything in greater depth, or perhaps ask a question on Twitter, you can find my details there as well. So let me just go to the chat facility now and see if you have any questions. Yes, I will be sending out a copy of the presentation for later reference. It should be in your inbox tomorrow morning, and there should also be a recording of this webinar available on the iContact site in the next couple of days. A few people had some problems with the sound during the webinar, so as I say, if you did have any problems with any of the sound during the webinar, we will be putting a recording of this webinar online in the next couple of days, where hopefully you can listen to it again. Do we have any other questions online before we end today? No? Okay, well, I would like to end by thanking you all for joining me today. As I say, if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop me a line, jhayes@icontact.com, or via Twitter at John_W_Hayes. I would recommend that you follow iContact on Twitter at iContact, or register with our blog online, icontact.com/blog, for more regular updates. And I hope to meet you on a future webinar. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you.